Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday, the 15th of January 2026, and today, again, a little bit different. What I did was I was stalking an entry at the 69.93 in the afternoon, kind of right around in the last hour of trading. I did a screen record of that, but I didn't get an entry, nothing triggered for me, so as far as the trade recap goes, there's really nothing to discuss, but I am going to attach the video of me kind of stalking that entry, waiting for a trigger and not getting a trigger. Um, so yeah, it's not the most exciting video, of course, but just documenting my thought process there and why I didn't take the entry. Would love to hear everyone's thoughts down in the comments, whether you took it or not, or in the Discord, and how, if you saw things differently or what else you guys are looking at. So please share those in the comments. That would be interesting to see. But yeah, other than that, as usual, just trying to do the best to follow the system outlined by Adam Mancini. So check out his newsletter and tweets at the links below. And with that, I'm just going to flick over to the live recording, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Okay, just jumping on the screen record again here to see if a trade sets up. Instead of doing the trade recap, I'm just going to record and see if we get an execution here. So what I'm monitoring, it is right around 2:35 Eastern time in the afternoon. Been a little bit of a slow day, just riding runners from this morning. From yesterday afternoon's trade down at 69.37 or 38. There was a little failed breakdown this morning, kind of a lower quality, very shallow failed breakdown of the 94 level, and then that set a low at 92 that ran up to just past 16, so a 24-point low. So looking to see if we get basically a double dip failed breakdown of this level here. So we flush through from 92 down to 88-ish, so 3.5 point flush, very shallow. But typically on a slow day like today, that's kind of often what you get. We had this micro flush this morning. Let's see if we get another short one here. So we've recovered by a few points so far. With this type of shallow flush, basically watching to see if this is going to trigger the non-acceptance protocol, which would be holding above 97. So holding above here for a few minutes to trigger along, or if we're going to dip back down again. So the non-acceptance protocol would be up here and then holding up here for the long. Or let's do gold for the type 2 acceptance, would be a dip again and then recover. So let's see, we're just about at the non-acceptance kind of protocol window here. Just keeping an eye on time as well. So we recovered. I'm just gonna have to, we recovered the level about 5 minutes ago now. Initially put in maybe a very minor little dip from 96 back down, touched the level to 92, so a tiny whiff of type 2 acceptance there. So maybe you could have taken that one. I'd like to see a bit more of a significant dip, but in the context of the day, though, let's grade this trade. Overall, in the grand scheme of failed breakdowns, I don't think this is particularly high quality. We're up very high, in the prior days range. The volatility state is fairly mild on the low end, so I'd probably give it a 2 out of 5. So this level as well is not massively significant. It's probably a C, B grade level. So overall, I'd say this is pretty lower end of acceptable, but still acceptable nonetheless. So right about now, we're just getting, it's 240 Eastern. So now we just want to see if it's going to hold this kind of range here for a few minutes for the non-acceptance protocol to trigger. And if it starts, a little half point, maybe a point below that, not too worried. But if it starts getting in back down towards the level, then I'd be looking to see if the second type of acceptance is going to trigger an entry. But let's just give it a few minutes. So I kind of clocked it at 140 there. Can't quite see how high we got, so still just holding. So it's about 142. So we've had a couple of minutes above, but we're starting to fade here. So this is about the time I would, well, I was going to say if it gets down to the 94 level, kind of halfway between the level and the non-acceptance protocol kind of window, if it dips back into, so this is the danger zone, not the red box. So this region here is the danger zone that we need to be careful of if price is just going to hang out here for a little bit. Then we want to be very careful taking any entries in here, but we've just dipped back down into it. Now we're pushing back up. So we've been about 3 minutes since we got up into the non-acceptance protocol window, and prices just kind of faded below that. So when we come back up here, I'd probably want to restart the clock, or at least just give it a minute. I'm not going to be any rush to jump straight in here if we pop above 97. Probably what I'm going to do to save myself from editing it too much, I'm just going to pause the recording here, and I will restart it when I've got something to say or something relevant. I'm sure you don't want to be just watching this go tick by tick, so I'm going to pause it and I will resume when something relevant has happened. Okay, so I left you, I think, about 243. It's now 251. We dipped a little bit down to 93.50, and now we've just come back in, popped into the the non-acceptance zone again. So just above the danger zone, and I'm just trying to see if it's going to hold above there. to trigger an entry for me, but as soon as I say that, it just starts dipping back down. Yeah, potentially there was that type 2 acceptance entry in there, just where we've pushed up through the level, come back, tested it, and have lifted off. So perhaps one could have got an entry in down here at 93 and rode it up to 97, which is the next level up, and then above 97 we've got 702, 7002. So we've been hanging out here for about a minute and 30 seconds now. So for me, I'm in a runner from the 38 yesterday. In my eyes, this isn't super high quality, so this would be a smaller size trade for me, but I mean, at least the risk reward is relatively decent. We're not looking at a huge stop, but still, let's say you take it in above the danger zone, perhaps at 98. That's 10 points plus a little bit of margin. I mean, maybe you go below this this other shelf. So still probably a 12-point stop on that one if it does trigger with only a 4-point profit take up to 7,002. Just a little bit slow here. What I'd really like to see from type 2 perspective here, we've pushed up, we've reclaimed the level, we've dipped. I'd really like to see it lose the level, hold this low, and then recover for a long, and then taking it around the 93. With it being this slow, it's definitely less appealing. I'm always a bit cautious when the tape speed, this is on this little speed gauge here, when this is below 300 during the regular trading hours, it's just indicative super low volume. And those are the kind of trades you either get stuck in for ages, and they can just chop you up. And even if you do get a winner, they can be kind of mentally draining. So just watching here as we start to dip back down to see if we're going to hold the 92 or break back through it. I did like this 96 level as well. 96, I put it at 96.70, sorry, not 96, 86, 86.75. I did like that shelf from the pre-market. So maybe we can flush under that and then recover this 88, or recover 88 and the 92. That would perhaps be a more appealing, or another option at least. But let's just see, just waiting. I'm going to pause it again here. Okay, restarted the recording here. So we did lose the 92 there, and we've just ticked under the flush low at 88.50, and we've gone down to 88. So looking to see if we can recover, maybe hold this low at 86, 87, those shelf of lows. Looking to see if we can hold here and recover for that kind of type 2 acceptance. With this entry, then we'll probably be looking to get in around 93-ish and ride it up to 97. But conversely, if we break this level, then it'll probably just stand down a little bit and watch what happens if we break below the pre-market shelf here. Okay, gonna pause it again at 2:59. Okay, it was only on pause for a minute there. I just restarted it just to show kind of the increase in volume here coming across the tape. Kind of missed it, but it was up in the 2000s momentarily there as we test this overnight shelf in the 2000s. Delta was relatively flat, so a bit of a battle going on here in this zone right around the 87. So let's see what happens. We've dipped 85.75 so far. All right, let's go back on pause. So it's 3 minutes past 3 now, heading into the last hour. So what I'm watching here is to see then, we've done a kind of micro flush of this overnight shelf. And if you applied the non-acceptance protocol on the 87 level, that would put you above 92. And that would coincide with the reclaim of the AM session low here. So if we could get up to 93, I'd be looking to see you take an entry there. Always worth keeping an eye on X throughout the day as well. Adam has just tweeted out something similar. Bulls want to reclaim 93 to see 7,002. So yeah, just watching that level now to see if we can recover it here. If we do, I should think it will happen pretty quickly. If we fade below this, then it'll be stand down. But we could be getting an entry here soon. Okay, gonna pause the video again here. It's getting up to 20 minutes. Let's wait and see what's gonna happen. It is 7 minutes past 3. Okay, it's now 11 minutes past 3, and still just watching. We've starting to put in a bit of a back test of the level. Back test of the level, a little bit of the first type of acceptance now. After we've made this new lower low, we've come back, tested the level, dipped again. So same story really. If we can push up through the 92 above 93, be looking to take an entry there. So still just watching and monitoring. So while we wait, we could maybe just take a quick look at the guidebook that we have available in the Discord. Yeah, based entirely on Adam Mancini's fail breakdown strategy. Some very similar information to what's available on his website, but just with charts and markups. But down at the end here, there is a kind of a pre-flight checklist. Gonna have to rotate that. It's not showing up very clearly on my screen, I guess because of the scaling, but let's keep that in the background. And maybe we can just run through this real quick. So this is just kind of a sense check or a pulse check of where we are. So before we enter a trade, kind of thinking through these things to assess the quality and whether you want to take the trade or not. So what has Adam done and what would he do here? I don't know if he traded this morning or not on the earlier trade at this level, which was at maybe 94. He may have, but he did tweet that 93 reclaim would see up. If he traded this morning, he's unlikely he's trading this one. The context, so bigger picture, we're pretty high up there. It's not super favorable, but I would just say that maybe means size down on the trade. So the significant low, there's kind of 2 in this area. We've had the AM session low and the overnight shelf. So both meet in my book, both meet the criteria for a fail break, or the qualification criteria for being significant lows, so still valid. Certainly valid to engage on a sweep and a recovery. Volatility state's pretty mild here, and we're actually just looks like we're about to lose the flush low here again. So yeah, volatility state, I think I mentioned before, maybe a 2 out of 5, not super good. Time of day, last 45 minutes is a reasonable time of day to trade. The last half hour tends to be better. Volatility picks up a little bit more in that last half hour, so we might just have to wait a bit more to get that trigger. Kind of went through the targets already. I think from 93, there was a level at 97, and then 7,002 with the targets above, and the stop location is going to be under 85 now. So 93 to 85 is 8 points plus a few if we were to push back up through. So that's kind of where the stop is going to be. Mindset, so just quick check. This is kind of a personal thing. How have you been trading? You should know what your A game, your B game, and your C game are. And just check on yourself. If you're in your C game, maybe trade that one in a funded account or a sim account, not an important account. For me, feel pretty calm and in control, somewhere between an A and a B. I did take some deep breaths in one of the pauses there just to try and give myself that extra means of being patient. So just in the stalking and entry phase, but point being, like, I think all this stuff adds up to, giving a pass on the entry, but not super high quality. So for me, this will be towards the lower end of my position sizes if it were to trigger, but starting to move into the stand down kind of zone now. So yeah, we were working on acceptance, but never got the trigger, never got the impulsive reclaim with momentum. So without that, there's no trade, and no trade management to worry about. So I think I'm gonna call this one off. I'll keep it on in the background, and I'll restart it if there's suddenly a massive injection of volatility. But that was probably a boring 25 minutes for not taking a trade if anyone's suffered through this.